So I was originally going to be making a Kung Fu Panda 4 video, why it sucks ass, but then I just saw this video where this guy says that Kung Fu Panda 2 is mid, like a 5 out of 10. So obviously, me being, well, me, I wanted to make a response video to this. So let's hear what RSG2 has to say.
So we get this shot of two kids playing with toys and then we hear banging. Presumably it's the 5 training, but it's actually Poe stuffing dumplings in his mouth. And Tigress is like,
your training has paid off.
but the problem with this scene is that it just doesn't add anything to anything. Like, what is the purpose of this scene other than being funny?
Well, it's to show that the Furious 5 and Poe have become better friends over time from the first movie, you know?
So stay with me. Poe then gets called to Shifu, and when he gets there, Shifu is instantly doing this water drop thing. So they start talking about inner peace, and we get this joke where Shifu is just explaining his arc in the first movie while insulting Poe. This shit is... Wait.
Not actually contradicting his previous stance. Attention, funny joke that also does not undermine the character.
Yeah, that, but like in reverse. It's such a predictable joke that isn't clever at all. And it's so out of character for Shifu.
What the fuck are you talking about, bro? No, it's not out of character for Shifu to say that to Poe. It's called a humorous jab. This is what friends do. Shit, I even do this to my own friends sometimes. Do you not do the same to your friends?
Now obviously these are problems, but what I want to emphasize is that this movie is at its core flawed. These mistakes are not just random. They're all a result of the way this movie was written. This and the third movie were not directed by the same people who did the first movie. And that honestly explains a lot. Not only in the lesser quality, but this movie feels a lot more focused on being a kid's movie. There's so many moments that you can tell were only put in to please younger audiences. Many changes made to make this movie more traditionally appealing.
Oh my god, bro. Oh, man. What the fuck, man? How did this get your ass?
So let me get this right. Lord Shen committing genocide at the beginning of the fucking movie was only there to appease younger audiences. Wow, this was a very intelligent point. I'm quite surprised you've not been hit by a car.
An example being the side characters.
Hey, maybe you can't watch me be killed?
Stop being a wimp.
They fucked it up.
Can you elaborate?
I've already talked about how the first movie does a great job painting a full picture by implying meaning. The Furious 5 weren't the focus of the first movie by any means, but they serve their purpose. But in this movie, they're just weak-ass joke machines.
Okay, you make one fair point, but this would be a nitpick at best.
Tigress is the only one that isn't extremely shallow, but is also still kind of ruined. First movie, you could tell exactly how she felt and why she felt that way.
They do that in the second movie. Like, what are you actually talking about?
But in this movie, they try to give her more personality, and it's just... I'm sorry, guys. It was weak.
Dog, are you even paying attention? You just played a scene where Poe expects Tigress to lash out, but instead she shows compassion. How is it weak?
I think the problem that stands out to me the most is that this movie feels rushed. And not in the sense that they didn't have enough time to make it, but in that they didn't do a good job of fitting the story into a 90-minute limit. There's so many moments in this movie that are simply not set up well. Remember the third scene when Shifu almost randomly brings up inner peace? And it's the first time Poe's hearing about it, apparently? Well, a few scenes later, they learn of Shen, so Shifu sends them to stop him, and Poe's like, wait, how can I do this? And Shifu flat out says anything is possible with inner peace. Bro, it's just like, whatever.
What the fuck are you talking about? So what you're saying is that inner peace was brought up to Poe and was referenced again in a later scene. So you're saying that it wasn't set up well, even though it was set up and followed up with later. Like, how stupid are you, bruh?
Somebody like you deserves to be hit in the street by a fucking moving bus. It's people like your ass that doesn't deserve to live. You deserve to be destroyed. You're on Earth for literally no fucking reason. You deserve to die. Your soul does not deserve to be on this planet.
And then also, Shifu doesn't even go with them. And it's like, bruh, if we're talking about Kung Fu itself being on the line, why? Well, there's literally no reason for it. He's kind of just not in the movie, and then at the end he comes back. He says, "Po, incredible that you found inner peace." And Po's like, "I had a great teacher." And it's like, what the fuck are you talking about? He wasn't in the movie.
Okay, first of all, if Shifu leaves the Valley of Peace, then it's unprotected. Common sense. Second, Shifu knew that Po was attacked by the cannon. And the fucking movie literally shows us this. Third, Po thanked Shifu because Shifu taught Po inner peace. Because, he's actually in the movie. I know, shocking. And Shifu was his teacher from the first movie.
There's also a lot of moments where the movie instantly moves on to the next scene.
Yeah, that's how a sequence of events work. Where are you going with this?
It's like it has no time to breathe, unlike the last movie where it really lets the emotion sink in. This movie does feel rushed, but it's very clearly just weak writing mostly.
Or it could just be your brain malfunctioning. And the movie literally does sit with the emotions. The scene you practically just showed has Po sitting with the emotions as he achieves inner peace. It is not that hard to understand.
The most beloved aspect of this movie is the message. The first movie was about embracing yourself, and this one is like a hybrid of finding inner peace and also finding out who you are. Po faces uncertainty, not knowing that he's adopted, and uncertainty becomes anguish. So the sheep tells him to let it flow and he finds inner peace just like that. It just isn't set up well.
Po finding out who he is how he achieves inner peace. And it was set up from the beginning. So yes, it was set up well. You just don't understand this movie.
Po as a character is just so much weaker than he was before. He has moments where he struggles, but because of how the movie is structured, most of the time he's just child-appeasing funny guy.
Okay, I'm convinced this idiot did not watch the movie.
The plot of this movie is so dull.
Yeah, and this video is so dull. To the point where I lost my brain cells.
It's kind of like an adventure quest plot where the characters go to a city, fight, lose, fight, win. It almost feels inconsequential by the end.
Just because the plot is being oversimplified does not mean the story is inconsequential. Fun fact, Po finding inner peace happens to be a consequence. I know, shocking.
The movie almost has to come to a stop to have character moments, which for Po are all about his uncertainty of being adopted, which I guess uncertainty does directly relate to inner peace, but the actual inner peace that matters has to do with Shen killing his panda race. So in turn, that conflict almost gets resolved instantly, I'm not even joking. Inner peace is a good message that I still learn from even today, but it all comes down to execution, and I feel like there are a numerous amount of works that convey this message better. One being Kung Fu Panda 1 with Shifu. I think in a lot of ways this movie is just a shitty reflection of the original.
It's not a shitty reflection. You're just an idiot.
Off the bat, this movie introduces destiny and flat out says that Shen will be defeated by Po. Like it continuously keeps reminding us that Po will beat Shen.
They said a warrior in black and white, not Po. It's not really specific. It can be any panda.
And the problem is that we really have no reason to believe that he can't. The reason that the first movie's destiny plot works so well is because Po is a fat, worthless panda. How the fuck could this dude beat Tai Lung? And then we experience this masterful story, and by the end, the victory feels earned. There are also a lot of moments in this movie where they use the same music from the last movie and it's implemented in a very similar way. You have this training montage and the journey montage. But here, it's kind of reflecting Shen and Po, but like they don't even know anything about each other yet. Why are we getting this fucking versus screen?
The versus screen is for the audience? Because we already know their relationship to each other. Like, you do know that, right?
In the first movie, Po and Tai Lung are two sides of the same coin, but the execution is so good that it doesn't even need to dwell on it. You have the dragon scroll scene versus Shifu guiding a drop of water. Obviously, by default, the dragon scroll scene is way more impactful, but it also helps that Shifu doesn't say, "This is one of Uguay's teachings, watch this."
Dude, do I need to explain why this is retarded? Okay, first of all, you are comparing a setup of the climax in the first movie to the early setup in the second movie. Why do you think I don't even need to explain why this is retarded.
The only thing different is probably Shen. Shen is basically just an evil guy who wants to rule China.
Oh yeah, totally Shen is just an evil dude that just wants to take over all of China. This definitely does not mean that he wants to prove his worth to his parents that basically banished him. Are you stupid? I think you are.
He does have a more personal connection to Poe, but it doesn't really result in anything mind-blowing.
Yes, it does. Lord Shin literally committed genocide on Poe's race, and is the reason why Poe wanted to achieve inner peace.
But the biggest problem is that when you have a villain who's supposed to be terrifying, it is the dumbest idea to have a character constantly embarrass them.
Then I guess the Joker isn't intimidating. You do know that villains can be intimidating without being 100% serious.
These first scenes with Shen in this Go are almost exactly like this Megamind scene with Roxanne. I guess this does lead to a moment where Shen is like, fuck you can't even believe how evil I am. So then he says, free her. And like, what the fuck? That is the most friendly, unintimidating way of making someone leave. Like, I'm not saying kill her, but do something, you fuck.
He did. He wants to show off what he's capable of. That's why the soothsayer is being kept alive. And also, the soothsayer is somewhat of a mother figure to him. Just a little bit, from what I believe. So that's all I'm going to respond to. I'm not even going to finish the entire video, because I'm pretty sure it's just most of him just yapping, and it's almost the end of the video, so I don't really need to do that no more. Plus, SK already did it, so I don't need to. I would recommend you go see his video. It's a lot better than mine. Well, anyways, if you disagree with anything I said, then you can join my Discord server and we can have a debate about it. Anyways, that's all I had to say. Bye-bye, grease monkeys.